All right, guys, welcome back to the Drone Money Workshop. We are now on module 4. At this point, you should have your FAA license and you should have already purchased your drone. The drone I recommended to you guys to purchase was the DJI Mavic Mini 3, and now it's actually time for you to register your drone with the FAA. If you still haven't watched the disclaimer video that I posted between module 1 and 2, you need to go watch that right now. So pause this video and go ahead and watch that and then return back here for the rest. There's some crucial information on there that you need to be aware of before moving forward. Now, I know a lot of you already have your FAA license and you may already have your drone as well, and you're simply waiting to hear about how you can market yourself and start doing outreach. I promise you, we're getting to that portion of the entire workshop, but I need to make sure I'm going through everything as thoroughly as possible. And I need to make sure I'm giving everyone in the course exactly what they need to do to make all of this stuff happen, regardless of which stage in the program that you actually are in. So going back, you got your FAA license and now you purchased your drone. Now you need to register your drone. And to do that, this is exactly where you're going to go. You need to go to the faadronezone.faa.gov website. First, you're going to create an account. You're going to need to provide your contact information as well as a username and password. Then you can go ahead and get started with registering your drone. You're going to need to provide information about yourself, your drone, such as its make, model, serial number. So just make sure you have all that information on hand. The registration fee is about $5, and then you will receive a registration number. Your drone registration is only going to be valid for a certain portion of time. It's typically around 3 years. But what you need to do now with your registration number is basically you need to write it out on a piece of paper or type it up and stick it to the exterior of your drone, either on one of the arms, on the body of the drone, on the top of the drone. Just put it somewhere where it's easily visible and you don't need to take pieces off in order to access it. I did not have to do this with my Mavic Mini because, as I said in the disclaimer video, these drones for a very long time, since they were below 249 grams, did not need to be registered with the FAA and did not need a remote ID. But now all those loopholes are going out the window come September 16th. So even for me, if I'm going to go ahead and continue using this drone, I need to buy a $350 external remote ID and get the drone registered with the FAA. But like I said before, I'm actually going to be purchasing the Mavic Mini 3 just like you guys are. Now, currently, since you guys are in the beginning stages of the entire operation, I'm not recommending you go ahead and get liability insurance. That's exactly why we're sticking to the mini series, which is exactly what I recommended to you guys to get the DJI Mavic Mini 3, because it also weighs about 249 grams. And if it crashes into anything, the drone is basically going to break before anything else breaks. But you still need to be protected as a business. And that's why I need you to go ahead and register yourself as an LLC. There's a bunch of ways to go about it. I recommend you just go to YouTube and type in how to register my business as an LLC. I don't want to get too into that topic because then we're talking about taxes and structuring and the rest of your current finances, where you get all your money from. You need to talk to a CPA or your current accountant about that. Your LLC is basically there to separate you from your business. So in the off chance you get sued, they are suing the LLC and not you. And since we're on the topic about taxes, just to touch on it real quick, this workshop that you're watching right now, the $50 you put down, that's a tax write-off. The FAA test prep course that I recommend you guys purchase for $47, that's a tax write-off. The $175 you have to put down to go ahead and take the FAA test is also a write-off. Hell, even the gas you spent to get from your house to the FAA testing center or airport is also a write-off. The drone you just purchased, of course, also a write-off. So just make sure you're keeping track of every single dollar that's exiting your pocket to go ahead and make this happen, because that's what's going to lower your tax bill at the end of the year. Also, before you continue, there's 2 apps I want to recommend you guys use. This comes later on, and by the way, I'm not affiliated with either of these applications. The Drone Buddy app is definitely an application you want to be downloading when you find out where you're actually going to be shooting and when you finally get properties locked in to go ahead and start shooting. The main reason I've used this app is because it basically shows you where the no-fly zones are at and if you can even fly the drone in the area that you receive the job site at. This is going to be very helpful for you when you get into the field. So anytime I get a listing to shoot, I make sure I go on this app and just basically make sure I am allowed to fly there. It even gives you wind forecasting, time of day, humidity, cloud cover. I guess it's called Drone Buddy for a reason. And the other one you should definitely download is right here. It's called Drone on My Phone. As you can see by the video right there, it basically lets you practice with a virtual drone. And it's pretty realistic. As far as while you're flying in the field, it feels pretty similar. You can play it in first-person view, third-person view. But yeah, just wanted to recommend those 2 apps real quick. Oh, before I forget, what you also want to do is go ahead and create a portfolio. You want to shoot at least 2 to 3 houses, both photos and video. I want you to go ahead and contact all your friends, your neighbors, your family, your old teacher from high school that absolutely adored you. You can even go knocking on random properties one by one, and you'd actually be really surprised with how many people would be down for that. You can even incentivize them by saying that if they ever decide to rent out the property, they can provide these images to the property management company. And if they ever decide to sell the property, they can go ahead and provide these images and shots to the real estate agent. And they basically don't need to pay for it in the future because they're getting it for free right now. Don't worry, some of them will be like, oh, I didn't cut my grass, the property doesn't look really good, oh, we're renovating something in the backyard right now. But there will be those ones who are like, yo, we just added an entire balcony to the backyard, or we just got new patio furniture, or they'll be like, yo, I just put in a pool. This is awesome. Yes, let's do it. You can let them know that typically a shoot like this will cost anywhere between 200 to 400 bucks, and they're getting it for free right now. So why not just take it? Let them know that you'll be in and out of their hair within 15 to 20 minutes, or even 30 if you feel like it's going to take you that long, and that you'll provide the video and photo to them within the next 24 hours. If you're like me, my parents' house was not ready at the time. They were actually doing some renovations to it. My other friends and family didn't really have properties that were up to par that I really wanted to represent in my portfolio. So I went to a wealthy neighborhood in my area and I went door knocking. I went out for 4 hours, and on the same block, I was able to shoot 3 houses on only 3 batteries that had 20 minutes of battery life each. If you want to get a little fancy and you have something like Adobe Premiere Pro, you can take some of the images you shot and you can go ahead and do a sky replacement. There's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube and TikTok about how to do a sky replacement on Premiere Pro. Basically, if you go and you shoot the house and it's just clear skies, no clouds, you can add clouds, you can add like a nice sunset, you can add like a nice sunrise, you can make it look like it's like a twilight point in the day, which really makes the entire property look beautiful. And it's just something nice to go ahead and add to your portfolio. But typically, the more houses you can show on your portfolio, the more seriously these people are going to take you, because it just shows that you've done X amount of shoots in the past. It's very simple to do. It just takes a few clicks on Premiere Pro to get it done. Upload all these files into a Google Drive folder and you are ready to go to link your portfolio anywhere you need to.